What's good, gamers? Your boy Beastgamerkuma here with Sifu, which is out now on the PlayStation 4, PS5, and PC. So let's see if we can get through this review. Not going to take up too much of your time. As we all know, most stories start off with a revenge story. You play as an unknown character, no name, pick between boy or girl, and after you do the epilogue, where you actually face off against your former master, pretty much decimate everybody in this temple, and then you get unalived, which is crazy because you get saved by this weird, well, not weird, this little talisman that actually causes resurrection. And this is where your story begins. As you get into this intro, which is a short tutorial of all the bosses that you're going to fight, then we get a title card, which is actually pretty cool. Gives me this old school 90s martial arts vibe. There's going to be 5 levels in total that you're going to have to go through. Even though that sounds like it's not going to be a lot, trust me, you're going to have a lot of replay situations, a lot of restarts, because the difference between Sifu is when you die, you age. As most people know, you start off as a 20-year-old, and so far, the oldest I ever got was 77. And once all the pieces of the talisman disappear, that's pretty much game over, and you have to either give up, start over, or, you're going to have to start over either way. Now, this has some Souls elements because it's about learning and getting better. You get defeated, you learn from your mistakes, and you get better. You got to figure out how are you going to tackle these situations differently. Each opponent might end up in a different scenario. There is a way to rush each level if you find the right path, but if you want to gain extra XP to fill up your skill tree, I would highly advise going through the enemies so you can earn as much as possible. Even though there are some areas where you don't have to fight. Yes, there is a peaceful route to some of these situations. You don't have to attack everybody. Some people are there to just give you information and pass through. You can fight them if you want that extra XP, like I said, but it's not necessarily needed. So, we're going into the skill trees. Each area, there's going to be 2 different pages. One that gives you a better structure, gain on takedowns for your health, so you can gain your health back on takedowns, durability of weapons, speed, or even take the death counter away, because how it works every time you die, the number doubles, triples, and so forth. So if you're stuck at 6 deaths, if you die again, that'll jump up to 7, and then you'll get the next number after that. This is the fastest way you can die, to be honest. So if you defeat a special opponent or even the bosses, your death counter will drop down by 1. So try to keep it at 0 as best as possible. There are 2 different achievements for this: beating the game at under 25 and beating the game at under 50. So you could get both achievements at the same time if you do this properly and just stay under the 25 marker. The level of difficulty is at that sweet spot where it can feel too hard, but at the same time, like I said before, you are learning on how to get through the game. It's pretty good. Weaponries are involved, that's why the weapon durability is key as well, but not going to jump ahead too far. Let's go into the skill tree real quick. I highly recommend that you pick these skills: the charge back fist, focus sweep attack, environmental attacks, and step kick, just for your starters. And as you earn more XP, you can permanently unlock these abilities, so you don't have to worry about losing them after you restart, because that does happen once you die. If you haven't unlocked anything really, it'll restart and you have to rebuy them all over again until you permanently unlock. It'll take 5 buys, 5 times that number that it costs to permanently unlock it. But the fluidity of the combat is the best part about this game. Slowcap are the same people that made Absolver, which was a very kick-ass online PvE versus PvP martial arts induced game. But Sifu kind of cleans it up a little even better, because you got a nice dodge feature, you got your high and low attacks, you got a grapple, you got your parry, so it all comes into play. Now, in the tutorial it says up and down the parry, so you got a low attack, you hit up, you got a high attack, you go down. But sometimes enemies hit side to side, so I've noticed that you also can go left and right. So it's neither here nor there. So I would say time it properly, parry properly, and you can actually decimate them with nice combos to take them down. Hitting, I'm also playing on the PC and PS5 to do a comparison. So if you hit the YB, or on the PlayStation, the triangle and circle to cause a takedown. The main interesting thing about Sifu is the replay value, because it feels kind of forced in a way. I'm jumping around a little bit, but bear with me. It feels kind of forced because, yes, there's replay value in it, because as you progress, like I said, it is difficult. You're not, unless you're really good and understand the game, you're not going to get through it through your first try. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. So you have to replay it, earn the XP. That's what I did. I did a lot of grinding where I restarted, went back to the first level to get 1,000 each, up to 3,000 points on my combat, and unlock certain things, to perma unlock certain things. But sometimes it ain't going to be that easy, because each level is a different difficulty. You're going to fight the botanist, then you got to fight the fighter, then you got to fight the artist, then the CEO, and then lastly the leader, who is the main bad guy. And he's tough as hell, because the main problem with him is your focus meter doesn't work on him. Yes, you have a focus meter. Once your meter is built up to a certain level, and whatever you unlock, you can use a focus attack that is unblockable. But again, the leader, the main boss, the focus attack does not work on him. So it's like, now you just got to fight him straight up, and good luck with that. He is a tough SOB. Visually speaking, the game is beautiful all around. It's cel shaded, and I always like this style ever since Jet Set Radio came out back in the Dreamcast. It just has improved throughout the years. I believe this game is running off the Unreal Engine 4. So it's clean. The loading times are also smooth, both on PC and of course on PS5. And I like the different diversity of characters, especially when you go through every level. You got your slums area, then you go to the club, and then more funky, punk, and all that stuff. Neon lights all over the place. Then you got the museum, which is more artsy, conservative, a little bit of hipster. Then you got the CEO, with a little bit more business, more scary, intimidated guards. Then lastly, the sanctuary, where it's more calm, serenity, but they're still deadly. Each one has its own theme, and it's pretty good. Now, when I say about forced replay value, the first path that I'm going to spoil is that it's an all-killing run. You just going for straight-up revenge. There are 3 different endings from what I'm told and what I experienced. So the other 2 endings I'm not going to spoil, because I'm just going to leave it up to you. But the first ending is going to be an all-kill run and a redemption play. And it's kind of nice, but I don't like that it's forced, because they could have did all that in one playthrough, so that you can decide on how you want to take out the enemies and whatnot. So I feel like it's forced replay value. Secondly, certain enemies act like sub-bosses, when some bosses should just remain sub-bosses, because enemies will tank through your attacks, especially when they're doing an attack, and they'll tank it, but you can't do the same thing to the enemy. Enemy punches you, it stuns your attack. You punch them, it doesn't stun their attack, they just eat right through it. That's a major problem that I have. But I do enjoy that enemies can hit each other. So you can use that as a tactic, especially when they try to jump you. Dodging properly can make you hit one enemy to another and take them out even faster. So it's like a love-hate relationship with that. It's actually pretty good. I like that type of style. That needs to be more in many games, especially beat-em-ups. Enemies need to hit each other and cause damage. Like, we have that consequence, enemies in the game should have that consequences too. All in all, with everything going on, especially, like I said, the idea of learning how to get better, not being frustrated that it's difficult, even though there's going to be an update to make it easier for those that have been having problems. And some gamers are mad about that. I'll just say, whatever, dude. Just keep it on the same level as you are. Not everybody is going to be as try-hard as you. So, you keep it at the certain difficulty you want it at, or make it harder for yourself. Let other gamers live. It don't matter what difficulty they're on. They just want to have fun playing it. And this is one of those games, hey, you can have that choice. Given that option is not a bad thing at all. All that being said, my final thoughts is that Sifu is definitely innovative when it comes to fighting combat. It's still a major problem with the camera angles that I never understand why games like Ghost of Tsushima or this Sifu has a problem with the camera angles. You can lose a fight just because of the camera angles, and that always is a problem. I can't stand it. But all in all, I had a great time, especially learning how to quell my own anger, because as my boy Damien said, I have tunnel vision and get into rage when I get frustrated with an enemy, and that's why I lose, because I'm just going in flurry attack hoping something works, and it doesn't. I have to be calm, pay attention to how they attack, counter it, parry, dodge, and then forward attack back at them. So, yes, like I said, environmental attacks is definitely a must-have, because you can use anything in the area as a weapon. kick a chair at somebody to trip them up, then you go on a ground pound on them. You can use your weapons and throw them at their face, or, you know, stuff like that. Environmental takedowns are freaking amazing and a good asset in the game. All that I have to say, between the diversity of the enemies, the interesting but yet cliche storyline, I still didn't care. Even though it's cliche, it still worked, and I'm good with that. I give Sifu 4 out of 5 paws. That's right, beastly paws. So pick up your copy today. It's actually not that expensive for the standard edition, unless you go for the deluxe edition, with all the bells and whistles of soundtrack, art, stuff like that. Physical copies will be available in May, which is also a funny decision because the digital came out first, and a lot of people wanted a physical copy, but that's not coming out until May. So you gotta wait 3 months down the line to get the physical version. Oh well, I say, hey, if that's what you want, physical, I'm all about digital with my system, but that's just me. Other than that, Sifu is available right now. I highly recommend it. Get ready for the challenge and don't get frustrated. Just take your time with it. Understand, pay attention to what you did wrong, pay attention to what you need to improve on, and go in there and be the martial art badass that you are. Other than that, thank you all for checking out this review. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We have 526 subscribers. We're still trying to make the market to 1,000. With your help, that can definitely happen. Hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more videos. And as always, Beast out.